Right now to talk more about the politics around all this is Maura Gillespie. She's a former press advisor to then Speaker of the House John Boehner. More recently, Adam Kinzinger, and CNN political commentator, former South Carolina State Representative Bakari Sellers. The Arizona Supreme Court decision, if this Civil War era ban on abortion does go into effect in 14 days, how much does it help Democrats in the state?
Oh, incredibly. I mean, Republicans have long had a real problem messaging on women's health, I mean, quite frankly, and especially on the abortion topic. And I'm not really sure who decided that you have to be either pro-choice or pro-life. Two things can be true at once. You can believe in the sanctity of life, but also not want to take away the medical freedom of half the population. And Republicans have really struggled, and you're seeing this now where people like Kari Lake are turning back on what she has said before a year ago or 2 years ago on this very ruling that, Arizona is now putting into effect potentially. So it's a real problem for Republicans, and they realize that, and you're seeing that now with Trump and Kari Lake and people like that who are kind of realizing they're not going to do well in November if they continue to have these ridiculously strict stances on abortion.
Kari Lake on the ballot in Arizona in November as well. Bakari, you're not in the business of giving advice to Republicans, but what can Republicans do to counter this and try to make what even Donald Trump admits is a political loser of an issue for Republicans into potentially a winner or less of a loser?
It's not much you can do right now. I mean, I think that this cake has been baked. Donald Trump, when he put 3 conservative justices on the Supreme Court, when he's running around taking a great deal of pride in overturning Roe, and now you have this iteration in Arizona. One of the things Republicans have to do in the long run is nominate better people for office, from President of the United States to Kari Lake. I don't think you'll talk to any Republican with good sense who'll tell you that Kari Lake is a quality candidate. And I think you're starting to see that. She's along the same lines of Herschel Walker. And so when you have those Herschel Walkers, when you have those, you remember Dr. Oz? Yeah, when you have Dr. Oz and Kari Lakes of the world, you don't have a good quality bench out there running for office. You have people who are not able to message properly or who are not able to put up a good fight on issues such as this.
Okay, let's talk about messaging on a different front. Bakari, I'm going to start with you on this one, because on the Democrats' strategy, President Biden's former chief of staff, Ron Klain, he is offering up a very unvarnished kind of take on Biden's strategy right now, that essentially Biden is focusing too much on bridges, literally, but it also encapsulates missing the point on strategy. This is from Politico, who obtained audio from Ron Klain speaking at a private event last night. Here's what Klain says to this group, in part. He does 2 or 3 events a week where he's cutting a ribbon on a bridge. He goes on to say, if you go into the grocery store, eggs and milk are expensive. The fact that there's an effing bridge is not. He's not running for Congress. I think it's kind of a fool's errand. Agree? Disagree?
No, I agree. I mean, I agree with Ron Klain. I know he is kicking himself right now that those comments got out. He's going to find himself in the same boat as our good friend David Axelrod. He's probably going to get a button that says "Pricks for Biden" in the mail soon. But one of the things that Ron Klain was correct about is a simple fact that we have to focus more on those issues of bread and butter issues. And I don't think it's a either or. I think it's a both and. I think Joe Biden can talk about roads and bridges because we have an antiquated infrastructure system. But like I tell people often, my dad has never been more incensed than he was recently about the political process when he went to Piggly Wiggly and the price of whiting was higher than he'd ever seen it before. He likes to fry whiting with his grits in the morning, and that drove him nuts. And I think a lot of people are having trouble with the price of milk, grocery, eggs, and whiting.
Yeah. Maura, Politico also reports that they did a follow-up interview with Klain once they got this audio, and that Klain did, I think it's to the both and that Bakari is talking about. He did note that he did speak glowingly of Biden's accomplishments, but he's not backing down from this main critique that he says it's up to Biden and his campaign to make the election a debate about the future, not a referendum on what they've done. Who's got the upper hand on that? Because you know that a lot of the messages is about the past from the Biden campaign, because they're talking about the past presidency of Donald Trump.
Right. I mean, a lot of it from both sides have been backward looking, and we really need someone who's forward looking. And
that was exactly what Nikki Haley was talking about most of her short-lived campaign.
Exactly, because both Biden and Trump have been so obsessed with the past that it's leaving the rest of us behind. We don't know what we're supposed to be looking forward to. And you're feeling that. You're feeling at the grocery store. You're feeling this, anger and this disappointment and kind of this lethargic, what comes next? Where are we as a country? And I will say that the Republicans are playing into that. They're playing into our fears about not knowing what the future holds and capitalizing on it in a very aggressive way, obviously, but one that's proving to be effective. I mean, take polls as you will, but it's showing that Trump is winning because of the fact that he is playing on our fears. So it would behoove the president to show us what he's going to do in the future and why he's even running in the first place. And I think that is the message that really needs to come out in this next stretch.
Good news for everyone is we have months and months and months and months to go for everyone to start talking about the future and a little less about the past. Maura, it's great to see you. Bakari, thank you so much. It's great to see you always.